Clara Dixon wasn't the type to crave the spotlight. A college student juggling classes and a part-time job at the McDonald's on Elmwood Avenue, she believed in quiet actions over loud words. Those who knew her would say she was kind, sharp, and humble to a fault. But on one otherwise uneventful Wednesday afternoon, fate had other plans for Clara. A moment so unexpected that it would ripple far beyond the golden arches of her small-town restaurant. It started simply enough. The lunch rush had slowed, and Clara was wiping down the counter when the door swung open, letting in a tall, awkwardly composed young man. He had an air of calm confidence, but also looked out of place, as if this wasn't his usual haunt. Clara noticed immediately. He wasn't someone you'd easily overlook. Barron Trump. Of course, she didn't know that then. To her, he was just another customer stepping up to the counter, shifting uncomfortably as he placed his order. His movements were careful, deliberate, like someone trying to avoid being noticed. But then came the moment that shifted everything. Barron reached into his pocket, a look of quiet panic flickering across his face. His wallet was missing. Clara didn't hesitate. With a smooth motion, she pulled out her debit card and slid it through the reader. No drama, no questions, just a simple, "Don't worry about it," as she handed him his tray. Her smile was warm and genuine, and Barron's gratitude was clear, even though he managed only a soft, "Thank you." And that was it, or so Clara thought. A small gesture of kindness, a moment she didn't give a second thought to as the day moved on. But what she couldn't have imagined was the ripple effect that a single act of compassion would have. Weeks went by. Clara returned to her usual rhythm, working her shifts, balancing school, and never giving a second thought to the young man she'd helped. Meanwhile, in the grand halls of Mar-a-Lago, that same young man, Barron Trump, sat across from his father, recounting the story of a kind stranger at McDonald's. She didn't make a big deal out of it. Barron explained, his voice a mixture of awe and admiration. She just did it, like it was nothing. Donald Trump leaned back in his chair, listening intently. For all the bluster the world associated with him, moments like these struck a chord. "What's her name?" he asked. "Clara Dixon," Barron replied. "She works at the McDonald's on Elmwood Avenue." Trump nodded, his mind already working. He wasn't one to let such gestures go unnoticed, especially when they involved his family. "We're going to see her," he declared. His team sprang into action, coordinating the visit with precision. But Trump was firm on one thing: no press. "This isn't about me, it's about her." And so, on an ordinary afternoon that would soon become anything but, a convoy of sleek black SUVs rolled into the McDonald's parking lot. Inside, Clara was in the middle of the lunch rush, her hands full with trays and orders, when the restaurant fell unusually quiet. She glanced up and froze. There, framed by the doorway, was Donald Trump, flanked by his security detail. The chatter of the dining room died into stunned silence as every pair of eyes followed him. Clara felt her pulse quicken, her apron still smudged with flour from the last batch of biscuits. "Is Clara Dixon here?" Trump's voice carried through the room, commanding yet oddly warm. Clara stepped forward, her heart pounding. "That's me," she said, her voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions threatening to spill over. Trump extended his hand, his smile unexpectedly kind. What could he possibly want to say to her? And what could this mean for Clara, whose life was about to change in ways she could never have predicted? "Clara, I've heard quite a lot about you from my son, Barron." Donald Trump's voice, steady yet sincere, filled the room. "What you did that day was truly remarkable, and we're here to thank you." Clara blinked, trying to process the surreal scene unfolding in front of her. Barron stepped forward, a shy but genuine smile lighting up his face. "I never forgot what you did for me," he said softly. "Thank you." Her cheeks flushed, and she fumbled for words. It was nothing. "Just helping out," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "It wasn't nothing," Trump interrupted, his tone resolute. "Far from it." He motioned to one of his aides, who stepped forward and handed Clara a sleek, elegant envelope. Her fingers trembled as she opened it, revealing something she hadn't dared to dream of: a scholarship to cover the rest of her college expenses. Inside the envelope was also a handwritten note from Barron, simple but heartfelt. Clara scanned the words, her breath catching as she read, "Thank you for seeing a person in need and not hesitating to help. You made me believe in the kindness of strangers. You made me want to do the same." Trump's voice broke through her swirling thoughts. "We want to make sure you have every opportunity to achieve your dreams." For a moment, the restaurant was silent, and then the room erupted into applause. Customers, staff, and even strangers joined in, their cheers and claps filling the space with a contagious energy. Clara, overwhelmed by the flood of emotions, felt tears slipping down her cheeks. "I don't know what to say," she murmured, clutching the envelope tightly. Trump chuckled, a surprising warmth in his voice. "Just keep being the extraordinary person you are. That's more than enough." And with that, the convoy began to leave, the black SUVs disappearing from view as swiftly as they had arrived. Clara stood at the door, the envelope pressed against her chest, her heart full and her mind racing. The customers around her buzzed with excitement, some congratulating her, others shaking their heads in awe. As the moment sank in, Clara realized that what she held in her hands wasn't just a scholarship or a thank you note. It was a testament to the power of small acts of kindness. It was proof that even the simplest gestures, done without expectation, could ripple outwards in ways she could never have imagined. And perhaps that's the real takeaway. In a world that sometimes feels heavy, one selfless act can make it just a little lighter. Thank you for sticking with us until the very end of this story. If you found it inspiring, please don't forget to like the video and share it with friends. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell for more incredible stories like this. Until next time, take care and stay kind.